they had the debate with Tim Walz and J.D. Vance was the vice presidential debate, which doesn't really matter that much. It was pretty much a push. They said it was kind of a tie. Maybe J.D. did a little bit better. Didn't really matter because Tim Walz did a lot better with undecided voters in the post debate polls, and his likability went up a lot more. But he did catch J.D. Vance in some stupid stuff, which we'll get into in a second. But this leads to this. It brought up this whole issue about Trump and the January 6th situation, and did Trump try to steal the election and try to overthrow our democracy? Basically commit treason, right? J.D. Vance wouldn't answer the question. We're going to get into this a little bit later, too. All this new information about the January 6th case got released. In the D.C. case, where pretty much Mike Pence and a bunch of other people in the Trump administration said, oh yeah, it was his plan from the get-go. He knew he lost. He tried to overthrow the election. He knew, right? So all that information got released after J.D. Vance lied. Now Mike Johnson's trying to play cleanup. So we're going to start with Mike Johnson, then we'll go backwards and see why Mike Johnson's panties are in such a twist right here. But Mike Johnson's really, really panicking here. So here's John Iadarola on the damage report again. But man, this was just hilarious to me.
Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, you just said Democrats are. You said their rhetoric is inciting. We all just saw what both President Trump, former President Trump, and his son Eric said. Eric actually did specifically reference Democrats. He said they tried to kill him, and it's because the Democratic Party, they can't do anything right. Do you support those comments or not?
I don't know what Eric was saying because I only heard just a snippet there. I don't know the context.
You just saw it, sir.
Eric is very level-headed and a very intelligent person. I saw your clip of it, George. I didn't see the full speech. We need to all look at these things in full context.
So you're actually repeating the charge. And I don't know what more context you need. Here's exactly what Eric Trump said. They tried to smear us. They came after us. They impeached him twice. And then, guys, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him. And it's because the Democratic Party, they can't do anything right. What more context do you need? Do you support that statement or not?
George, I'm not going to parse the language, what people say at rallies. I could give you pages and pages of crazy comments by the leading Democrats in this country.
So it's very clear you're not going to condemn the basic suggestion the Democrats are behind the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I want to ask you another question.
Okay, so you know he's lying when he says your name 3 times. George. I'm about to bullshit you.
No, that's a delayed tactic. I'm trying to collect my thoughts, so I just keep repeating a phrase.
What's so funny though? So like this was part of what incited some of this shit, and part of what incited the insurrection stuff is that the Democrats are cheating, right? And they're doing this shit again. They're cheating now. They tried to impeach him. They're trying to criminalize him and all this stuff. It's like no, that's not the Democrats. So the impeachment was partly the Democrats, but he also did impeachable crimes, and he got impeached twice. Just the Senate didn't want to vote on it because Mitch McConnell didn't want to hear it. Right? They had the opportunity to end all this shit right then, but they didn't because they pussied out. Now you're in this situation where they're asking him, so wait a minute, he's saying that the Democrats tried to assassinate Trump when we know that both those shooters were independent guys and both of them were Trump voters, or at least the second one was. They weren't Democrats. They weren't aligned with the Democrats. And furthermore, don't you think the Democratic Party, if it wanted to kill somebody, could probably pull it off? Do you think they'd send a couple of freaking nutbags with AR-15s? No. So, it's all horseshit, but they're trying to spin it because they want to rile up the base, which is going to create violence during the election, is what they want. And they're hoping that they can push that sort of narrative and maybe skew the election or steal it. It's just insane stuff like that. But here's the second clip I wanted to watch from Mike Johnson. And this is the part where they ask, do you think Trump stole the election? And he's going to give basically the same answer. Well, no, I'm not going to say anything. I can't say anything.
Can you say unequivocally that Joe Biden won the 2020 election and Donald Trump lost?
See, this is the game that is always played by mainstream media with leading Republicans. It's a gotcha game. You want us to litigate things that happened 4 years ago when we're talking about the future. We're not going to talk about what happened in 2020. We're going to talk about 2024 and how we're going to solve the problems for the American people. I think this game that's played all the time, I'm not going to engage in it. We're not talking about that. Joe Biden has been the president for almost 4 years. Everybody needs to get over this and move forward. That's what we need to talk about. What happens on November 5 and the days after that? That's important, and that's what the Americans demand for us to talk about.
So, like Senator Vance, you cannot say unequivocally that Joe Biden won the 2020 election and Donald Trump lost?
George, I'm the Speaker of the House. I work with the President of the United States all the time. Joe Biden has been the president for 4 years. There's not a question about this, okay? It's already been done and decided, and this is a gotcha game that's played, and I'm not playing it. I want to talk about the future. Let's talk about policies. Ask me anything.
So,
Note, he can't say that Biden won.
no, I just that he is the president. I'm saying he's the president. Illegitimately. Because he can't say it. Because he'll lose his base. Because they're nuts. Because they've all been lied to. And so they've been lying for so long, they have to keep up the lie. Instead of just admitting it's all bullshit. Which is what the news wants them to do. But because if you asked them, hey, look, Hillary won in 2016. She got the larger popular vote. And she litigated to whether or not she did lose the Electoral College because it was down to a few thousand votes in like a couple states. And so Hillary might have actually won. Do you think Hillary won the election? He's not going to say, I'm not going to litigate what happened in 20. He's going to say, no, Trump won. But when you ask him that same question about Biden and Trump, he can't answer it. But the answer he gave, well, I'm not going to litigate the past, I'm focused on the future. That was the same answer Vance gave in the debate. And I want to remind everybody of this if you didn't see it. This was the big damning thing that Vance said, where Tim Walz really freaking nailed him to the wall. And I want to just jump into this real quick. So here was this clip from the Tim Walz, J.D. Vance debate where Tim Walz finally nailed it.
Was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020?
I'm focused on the future. That line doesn't work.
Focus on the future. Let me bring up a thing about the past.
Well, how about this? Your girlfriend comes up to you and goes, hey, Duncan, did you sleep with my sister? Look, honey, I'm focused on the future here. I don't want to litigate the past. You think that's going to float?
Well, that's the thing that you say as your last statement as a man who has a girlfriend.
Right? Timmy, did you set the rug on fire? Look, Mom, I'm focused on the future. Watch the rest of this, but that's the lamest fucking answer of all time. And Tim Walz nails him on it.
COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
The VP candidates largely stuck to the issues, shifting.
But he pointed that out, that J.D. Vance, if Trump tried to do it again, J.D. Vance admitted he wouldn't stop him. Like Mike Pence did. Not to say Pence is a hero, but Pence did finally do the right thing in the end. You still there? You kind of froze there for a second.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's a little delay, no worries. But yeah, so that was that. Go ahead.
I think yours is having poor. I think you're having poor connection.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll check it out here in a second. But here's J.D. Vance. Pretty much, this is what he got, because he lied a lot, but this is what he finally snapped about being fact-checked.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status. temporary protected status.
Margaret,
Nora?
but
Thank you.
Senator, we have so
first,
much to get to.
Margaret,
Thank you,
I think it's
Nora.
important
We're
because
gonna turn out of the
debate-
economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys weren't
economy,
going to
we're-
fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.
I don't want to go to the rest of it. I just wanted to do that one clip. Hey, I thought we were allowed to lie. What is this fact checking me shit?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bitch, what are you doing? Fact check me. I'm JD. We had that same bit with Lauren Boebert yelling at the NPR reporter about, "Oh, you're gonna fact check me?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's a journalistic
Yeah, well,
report.
blatantly making stuff up.
Otherwise, we'd be talking about Jewish space lasers. I mean, you nutball.